Hey friends, it's Kelly here, and I am going to walk you through editing a film in iMovie. So I wanted to record this just so you can see a little bit of my process and see how I go step by step through iMovie. I have a lot to share, and I am looking forward to diving into iMovie with you. So if you want to follow along, feel free. If you just want to watch this and then go back and implement this in your own projects, you can do that as well. And if you have any questions, definitely let me know. Okay, so when you open up iMovie, this is what you will see. You will have the opportunity to create a new project. So you're going to click here on the little plus sign, and then you want to create a movie. Okay, so once you're inside iMovie, this is what it will look like. You have created a project. I've gone over here to click on My Movie. You can rename this if you would like to, call it whatever you'd like. That's just kind of the default that comes up. Here is where you're going to import your media. This is where the playback will occur once you start building your timeline down here on the bottom. So you're going to drag your clips down here, adjust them. You can add in audio and music down here as well, and I will walk you through how to do all of that. And then we're also going to be talking about a few toolbars. This one up here and this one as well. And I will give you so many tips on ways that you can adjust your footage and really just perfect your edit using the iMovie tool. So first we'll go over here to my folder. I have some footage from the spring that I shot, and I'm going to show you how I put this together. So what we'll do first is just take this, select all of your footage, and then drop it into this import media. And you will see it all start to appear. So here is my footage. It was a quick little mini session that I did, both photos and video. So this is all the video footage. And we will start out by culling our footage. So now that we've imported our footage, we're going to go through and select which clips we want to utilize. And for me, the best way to do this in iMovie is to find a clip that you like. So I'm going to utilize this clip here where they are walking into the frame. And the best thing I have found to do in order to organize it is just to favorite the clips that you plan on utilizing. So you can click this little heart here, or if you right click, you can favorite it here as well. And then if you have a bunch of clips that you want to use, so let's say we're going to use this little clip of them hugging. We're going to use this one here that we already favorited. And then I'm going to also use the one of the girls walking away. Here they're walking into frame. Here they're walking out. And then let's say we want to utilize this one of them jumping around. So we'll just select a few for now. And then if you right click, you can see how they're all selected. If you right click and hit favorite, it will favorite all of them. And then when you want to go and organize, you can just go up here to the drop down and go to favorites. So then it's just going to pull the ones that you have favorited. So really that's the way that I cull my footage and make sure that I have things organized. And I'm only looking at the clips that I intend to put into my film. So I'm going to go through and cull all of the clips, and you can just watch along as I do that. So this one's a little bit bright, but I still kind of love the connection here. So I'm going to favorite that one. I'll include that one. Again, I only shot a few clips at this session, so I do think I'm going to include quite a few of them. But like this one, she's just getting loaded in and more. And this one, she's swinging. So I think I will probably not favorite that one, but will favorite this one. I love this one with the shadows and Big Sister walking. And then this one's great for kind of a close-up here. This one's a little bit bright, so I think I like this one better, the angle. And then they do the bubbles here, so we'll kind of find. And I just kind of scrub through here. You can see me moving my mouse back and forth, and iMovie just allows you to see kind of what you have. The great thing about this is once you've favorited clips and you go over to that, if you want to come back and look through footage or if you need an additional clip, you can always pop back over and do that. So for B-roll, I think I like this one where the sun is poking through the best. You can see these other ones I have of the tree, but I like this one. And then, yeah, I like this one with the flowers too. And I just took a few shots of the house. A lot of times my last shot ends up being the best one, the most stable. So we're going to select that one. And then like this little wind chime. and the sign on their porch that says their name. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. I'm going to throw in a couple more bubble clips here. Okay, we're going to do this one. Okay, so now that most of our footage is culled, we can see where I've selected my favorites, and then I will just go over here and hit favorites in the dropdown, and now this is the footage we're going to be working off of. And if you are editing in a different software, the process of culling your footage might be a little bit different. I tend to edit in Premiere Pro, and with that, I color code my footage. So in the same way that you're adding the favorites, they put this little green bar. Premiere Pro allows you to color code it just like you would images in Lightroom, and that's how I store my footage there. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter really what program you're using. Organizing things from the beginning will help you to create a more efficient edit and just allow your workflow to be a lot more consistent and easier. And anytime we can make this process easier, that's what we're going for. It can be a lengthy process. So getting organized in the beginning, making sure you know what clips you're going to be utilizing will save you time down the line. Okay, so the next step will be to drop our clips into our timeline down here at the bottom. So, I like to select my music before I start dropping footage into my timeline. So that is going to be what we do next. Okay, so our next step, now that we have all of our footage culled, is I like to select my music. So once you kind of know about how much footage you have, how much time you think it's going to take up, I'm estimating this film will probably end up somewhere around the 30-second to 1 minute mark. So I'm going to go in and look for a song that works well. The majority of my music I get from a website called Soundstripe, and I love it. It has lots of great options for family films, for brand films, wedding films. They have a huge variety of music, sound effects if you need those as well. So I really encourage you to explore Soundstripe. The other option, if you need something free, would be YouTube Studio. They have an audio library. And then if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to stay right here in iMovie, you can actually go over to audio. And then if you go down here to sound effects, there are a bunch of sound effects that are put in here, but there's also what are called jingles. And if you sort by the jingles, so click up here at genre, and then you find something that's a little bit longer, kind of around that 1 to 2 minute mark, you can play it. And if you like the sound of it, it could work really well. I will say there are not a ton of options in the iMovie Studio, so you're probably going to have to explore somewhere else depending on what you're doing. But I have utilized these just as some background music if I'm doing a small project, especially when I was first starting out and playing around with iMovie. They give you some options. Okay, so we'll just play a few of these so you can hear kind of what they sound like. You know, this could be really nice if you were doing like a little newborn session. But again, I think you're going to have many more options in Soundstripe or YouTube Studio. So definitely explore those. And if you want to walk through these and take a look, you can do that as well. So for the sake of this film, let's just choose something out of here so we can keep it easy. You will see here I've also sorted by time. So I'm looking for something kind of in this longer range. Okay, so I have found a little tune. It's not listed as a jingle, but again, if you sort by time, you can kind of explore what they have here. But I'm going to use this little playful jingle, and I will just select this and go up here and then drag it down to my timeline. Okay, so now I have my music down here. We'll make sure here that we go back over to our media. So we were in audio to find our music, and then media to go back to our visual clips. Okay, so here we are. Our music is down here. We are right at a minute as far as the music goes, and then I'm going to see exactly where everything shakes out, but I'm guessing it will be in this like 30-second to 1 minute mark, and I'll show you how to kind of fade in and fade out music in order to make it perfect for the amount of footage that you have. Okay, so now we're going to cull a little bit tighter and find the actual clips that we want to include. So I think I'm going to start with this shot of the girls walking in to frame. So kind of right there. And then what you'll do is on the ends, you'll see these little handlebars. So you can drag them in to where you want to start and stop your clip. And if you pay attention up here at the top of where I'm dragging, you'll see it says 3.4 seconds. So you know about how long that clip is going to be in your film. And once you find kind of a good spot, you feel like you're in the range of where you want to be, you can hit this plus button and it will drop it down onto your timeline. So with this, it doesn't have to be an exact science because you're going to be able to tweak and adjust as you go along, but get it in. But find the section that you feel like is going to work best within the full clip. So here, I think this kind of where they're getting a little bit closer to my camera. Mom kind of looks up, little girl's hopping. I like that. So we dropped that in. And then I'm going to include this a little bit later, but I knew I wanted to start with this. And then let me go into the girls kind of hugging. Okay, so I think I'm going to go right around here. Okay. You'll see here it says that's 3.3, 1.8. So this is the length of the clips that you have. And if you want to slow them down and make anything into slow motion, if you shot in 60 frames per second, then I would encourage you to do that. And I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. I know this video isn't specifically about settings for your video, so I'm not really going to get too deep into that, but I tend to shoot 60 frames per second when I am capturing anything that I want to slow down in post, and then 24 frames per second when I'm planning to include the audio. So for most of this, the outdoor footage where we're in the backyard, I shot in 60, and then the footage from the porch, I shot in 24 because I knew I would be wanting to include some of their little giggles while we were doing bubbles there on the front porch. Okay, so I'm going to save this and put that at a little bit of a different point just because I just did the clip of them hugging. And then I'll do some snuggles here with Mom. And while I am sorting through over here, I'm actually looking at this because it's, much larger. So kind of make sure you're paying attention over there to see what's in focus and what's going on, because it's a little hard when you're looking at these tiny little squares. Okay, so I love this where she snuggles her. Probably do right there to here. Okay, and then click add. All right, it's dropped it down there. And it shows you here this little orange line, what clip you've included. So when you click off of it and the yellow bar is not around it anymore, you can see exactly what you've included. And that helps me to know which clips I've already dropped into my timeline below. The other thing about iMovie that I love is it does display kind of a still here, so you can see what clip that you pulled into the timeline, even when you're just glancing down at the bottom. All right, and then let's maybe add in clip here of the flowers. They kind of fade into focus there. Okay, perfect. And the other thing is, now that I'm looking at this, I kind of want to move the flowers to the beginning. So you can just grab it, click on it, and drag it over to where you want it. And then you just want to make sure that you don't put it right on top. You need to slide it in. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so drop it in right next to it. And now we kind of start out with this clip, then go into the walking. And you'll see how all that comes together. Okay, so next up, we're going to come up to the front porch. And in order to move up this way, I want to make sure that we have some sort of transition. So here we have the kids and Mom walking away. So I think I'm going to go there next. Kind of right where that tree starts to come into focus. My camera jumped over to the tree. See how at the end here, the tree is what's in focus. I think I'm going to go right. Okay, perfect. So we'll add that in. All right, so we've got kind of walking in, and then I did want to put this little clip in here. So let's do some add in ring around the rosy. Okay, and let's see, I'm gonna go drop that here. And I think I'm going to drop in this one as well. So we'll click add. Okay, and then I actually want to reorder this. So I'm going to drop my little B-roll clip right back there. Okay. So this section is kind of complete. And again, I will tighten these up a little bit as we get closer to finalizing our film. And I'm also going to show you what to do with these audio files down here at the bottom that you currently see connected. Because right now, I don't think I'm going to be utilizing any of the audio from the film outdoors when we're playing in the backyard. Okay, so now we are transitioning up to the front porch. We have them walking back towards their house. And then I'm just going to include this little sign on the front porch. It was a little shaky in here, so I'm going to go towards the end where I shoot a little bit wider, and we'll just add that in. So you'll see here I'm kind of shaky in the beginning, and then I start to flatten out. So I'm actually going to pull this in a little bit, and this is how you do it down here on the timeline. You can grab kind of where the handlebar would be, and then you just drag in, and it makes it a little shorter. You can see down there, this number here is going down as I'm dragging to show that the clip is getting shorter. And this will be a great one. We'll probably stabilize it with the tools they have here in iMovie because it is a little bit shaky. I was shooting handheld. It was kind of a last minute thing. Okay, so then let's see. Now we're up on the porch. I'm also going to include this clip here. And as you'll see, I'm just kind of going based on what I feel inspires me, is going to tell the story the best, builds a little bit of a connection to where we are, the setting. And then now I'm going to go into kind of the girls walking up onto the porch, mom swinging with the younger one, and then them playing with the bubbles. So I'll do this one here. And that's the great thing about culling this footage in the beginning and sorting through it is you know what you have to work with, and it gives you the opportunity to have that in mind as you're putting the edit together. Okay, so like this. Yeah, okay, and I might shorten that up, but for now, that's where we'll leave it. Okay, and I'm going to hold off on this one at the moment, but I think most everything else, yeah, has been included other than kind of these bubbles. Okay, so now we will go down to the bubbles. Kind of playing in them here. Okay, I think I'm going to start with this one. Yeah, maybe we'll start here. Just because this is kind of the beginning, you know, whenever you are doing bubbles with your kids, you start out by holding the little wand and they're dipping and kind of splashing them around. So we'll start with that. And I might change my mind. Maybe I'll do the one with mom doing the bubbles first, and then we'll go to the girls. Okay, so again, just pick this clip up and pull it over there. Perfect. Okay. This one, the little girl tries to blow the bubbles at the end, and it's the cutest thing ever. Okay, so we'll do that. You know, actually, I'm going to include 2 portions of this clip, so let's just drop the whole thing in. And then what I'm going to do is split the clip. So we will have the older sister blowing her bubbles, and then the little sister. Kind of the middle is what I'm trying to cut out because the beginning was cute and the end is cute. Okay, so we have both of those clips, and I may mix them up because they're shot kind of in the same direction, same position. The other thing I'll show you can do, you can put in a transition, and that might be the best way to display how I sometimes utilize transitions. And then we'll just kind of round it out with a shot of their home. Okay, so that's down there. And I might make that a little bit longer so we take up the full. It was a pretty short clip to start with, so I might believe I shot this in 60, so I will have to take a look, and then I will slow it down if I want to. Okay, so just so you can see what it looks like, let's hit play. Okay, and so you can hear the audio down here at the bottom coming through. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all of these clips. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all of the outdoor clips right here, and then I'm going to right click and hit Detach Audio. So you'll see all the audio files drop down here at the bottom, and what we're going to do is select those and just hit delete. Okay, so now those no longer have audio. They'll just be set over the music. When we want to use audio, you will want to make sure you leave it here, and we can adjust it based on kind of the volume that we need it to be. You just want to make sure that it's balanced out well with your music. Okay, so now that we have detached our audio from these, we need to find the clips where we want to be utilizing the audio. So in order to do that, you need to kind of listen to the clips. I know for sure on this one, we're going to keep the audio, probably keep it on these where we are playing with the bubbles. And then let me listen. So for this, I will actually, I'm going to turn down our music for a minute. And we will listen back to the swing. Okay, I don't really want to use that audio. So I am going to select these. Okay, so we're just going to end up using some audio from these bubble shots. So I'm going to leave the audio on for all of these. And then again, whoops. Okay, so we're just going to delete the audio from all of these. So right click and then detach audio. Okay, again, so we'll just go down here, hit delete. Okay, and then we'll lower this again and listen back to these. I like that.
Do it, Terry. Right in Scarlett's face.
Okay, so I'm not crazy about the audio on these two. So again, just detach the audio, hit delete. You'll be a pro at that. And then I like these where the girls are blowing the bubbles. Those two I'm going to leave the audio in. So great. So we have some audio here. We have some audio here. And I think that's what I want to include. Okay, and this, as your film gets longer, this little option here will allow you to zoom in if you want to splice and cut out anything specific, or if you want to be really intentional with where you're adjusting your clips, you may have to zoom in and out, and then we'll zoom all the way out. And we'll just bring this music back up. I'm going to go right around 45%, and eventually we'll listen to the full playback and see what it sounds like. Okay, so now the whole film has been laid out and we know what audio we're going to be utilizing. I will really just go through and kind of perfect the edit at this point. And what I'll do here is I'm going to hit play. And I just want to make sure that the clips are transitioning kind of on the beat of the music. So I'm going to go through and do that for all of my clips, and you can watch along as I adjust these. So I'm going to turn down the volume just a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to go back through and do what I like to call perfecting the edit. So I'm just going to make sure that everything is just how I want my viewer to see it, to make sure that the story flows really well, I have some connection in there, and then that everything works well with the music, the color, the audio, all of that is exactly as I want it to be when I export it. So first off is going through and adjusting your clips to the beat of the music. I think this adds a really nice professional vibe and makes it a more enjoyable viewing experience for your audience. So let's start here at the beginning. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is actually go through and adjust the speed on some of these clips. I do want to slow down some of these in the beginning that I shot in 60 frames per second in order to make them a little bit more slow motion. So I'm going to go through now and select all of the clips that I want to slow down. And then when you go to this option here, it says speed, click that. And then here you have a few options. So you can do slow, you can speed things up and make it fast, or you can make it customized. So you can adjust the speed by a certain percentage. So right now, let's go to about 50%. So it's going to double the length of all of these clips. And you'll see now we're past our minute mark. So I'm just going to have to adjust how these look and the length that they're added. So let's push play. Okay, so this one I am going to leave a little bit longer because I'm going to add in a title of the film here on the beginning. Let me, as I said before, zoom in here and see, you can kind of see the beat of the music changes right around the time that we're jumping to our next shot. Okay, so let's watch this back. Okay, I like that. Did you see how it transitioned right on the beat? So we'll push play again. Yep, so right on a beat, which is perfect. That's what you want. And then this one, I am leaving it a little bit longer because I'll add in a title here at the beginning, kind of overlay it with the flowers. I think that'll look really nice. And then here we have the girls walking in. So it has, lengthened this clip out. So we're just going to want to make it shorter. And again, you're trying to go here on the beat of the music. And that's what I'm going to be doing for all of these clips. Okay, so I want this little jump to kind of come right there. So let's go. Okay, perfect. So she starts to jump. And again, with the beat of the music, it can be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be a transition at that time, but maybe it's a moment that you're waiting for to happen. I love that this transitions with kind of this happy music and she starts hopping. That is absolutely perfect. And then when we go to end it, we will just watch until we kind of feel like it's a good spot to change over to the next clip. Right on this beat here. And you can see your beats down here at the bottom. A lot of this comes from practice, from listening, and over time you'll get better. Okay, and you know what? Now that I'm watching it back, I want to move this over here. So again, it's your film. You can do what you want. You can tell the story however you want. I just like how this is kind of light and bright and this one's a little bit brighter. We are going to get into color and adjust that as well. But for now, you can see kind of how I do it here. So we've got the girls. We'll push play. Okay. And I just want that tree clip to be short and sweet. And then we'll go into mom. I'm going to shorten this one up. Okay, and that was perfect. It landed right on the beat. You can see when the beat kind of picks up and they're dancing. Okay, I love that. So this one I'm going to leave just as long as it is. I think it works out perfect. It's a little shaky in the beginning, so I'm going to cut it down. So I'm going to try to get this one to come in right as the little chimes start. Maybe I'll make it a little longer on that end, see where we flesh out. Yeah, I like that transition better. It's a little bit more on the beat than it was before. Okay, and then we're going to end it right there. And this little toolbar here is nice because you can drop it right where you want it. And then you can slide this in where you need it. Okay, and some of these are working out really well. So that's kind of what you want. You want to go, make this as easy as possible, especially in the beginning. I wouldn't spend a ton of time making sure it's on every specific beat. You don't want things to be all the same length. So you don't want every single clip to be 3 seconds long, even if that goes with the beat of your video, because it will almost distract because it'll be way too predictable to see that the next clip is coming 3 seconds later. So just keep that in mind. As much as you want to keep things on the beat, like I said before, it could be a moment that's on the beat, not necessarily a transition that's on the beat. And then there are kind of sub beats in there. So just make sure that it flows really well and you can kind of endlessly do this. So just don't get too caught up in spending your whole day adjusting everything to the beat of the music. Obviously, once you get into something a little bit more on a professional level, if you are doing this for brands or for weddings, you're going to be a little bit more attentive to these details because they are essentially higher paying clients that are looking for a higher quality, more polished film. But with families, it's all about the connection, the fun, the audio, and having videos that transition on the beat is something that just polishes it up in a way that your families won't even realize, but they will love the value in that. Okay, so keep in mind when you're adjusting your clips to the beat of the music, this doesn't have to be a perfect science. It doesn't necessarily need to make sure that every single clip is 3 seconds and happens on the same beat throughout the whole song. In a way that will just become a little bit too predictable for your viewer. So perhaps you're looking for a moment to happen on the beat, such as the little girl who was jumping, the older girl here when she was jumping earlier in the film. I loved how that happened on the intro of that additional instrument in the music. So keep things like that in mind. And then don't spend all day doing this. Make sure that you're paying attention to the beats, but it's something that can be really time consuming. So especially in the beginning, you just want to make sure that it flows really well and don't overwhelm yourself with this process. Okay, so here's a great example. I got to the end of my film and I'm playing this clip, and it's just not the clip I want to end on. So I'm actually going to delete that clip, and then up here in our favorites drop down, I'm actually going to go back to all clips and then look for a better clip of the house. So apparently I thought this looked good earlier on, but now I'm feeling like maybe I want something that's a little smoother. Okay, so let's add this one in. Okay, and see what this looks like. Okay, and so we'll stabilize that out and it'll look great. Okay, so now we have all of our clips adjusted to the beat of the music. And the next thing up is going to be to stabilize any shaky footage and improve our audio quality and adjust any color that we need to. Let's start out with color. The first thing I'm going to do is tell you that the key to this is really to getting it right in camera. So you want to make sure your white balance is proper when you're shooting, and then also that your exposure is as close to perfect as you can get. As I mentioned, even myself as someone who's an experienced shooter, I was going back and forth between photo and video, and this one did get a little bit hot. I tend to like to underexpose my footage. It makes it a little bit easier to pull it up in post than it is to bring it down, but I will show you what it looks like here. Okay, so I'm going to click on this clip and then I'm going to go up to this option here, which is color correction. There's also a tool called color balance. I don't really utilize this, so you can play around with it if you want, but I like this option. It gives you a little bit more freedom as far as what you're controlling here. So while it doesn't show you up here at the top what it is, but you can hover over it and it will tell you this is to adjust the temperature, to make colors warmer or cooler. This is going to be your saturation. And then this allows you to do things like contrast, brightness, shadows, and highlights. So a lot of the same tools that if you edit in Lightroom or Photoshop you're utilizing, but on a video side, it's pretty basic. It is much more complex when you get into a higher end program such as Adobe Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve. Those are all going to give you more flexibility on the color side. But again, we're here, we're editing an iMovie, we're putting together our first few films, and I think this is a great, great tool to make it look how you want it to and to really get it right in camera to start and adjust what you need from there. So for this, it's a little bit blue. So I'm going to warm it up just a little bit. You don't want to push it too far. Video, you really don't have as much freedom. It's almost like shooting in JPEG. You don't have as much freedom to color correct afterwards, so you want to get it right. And then here I am going to bring down the brightness a little bit. I'm going to pop down my highlights, and I think I'm going to bump my shadows down a little bit. Okay, so not a lot of adjustment, just a little bit to make it flow better. I think that is perfect. It's not as bright as it was before. It doesn't hit you as hard because earlier, if you remember, I had it right next to this clip. This clip's a little bit darker, just based on the location I was shooting in and kind of the angle I have on the girls. And then we go into this, which is obviously bright, and then this one. So here, I actually think I'm going to select all of these and warm them up just a tad. So we'll go over just a little bit, and you can see that's adjusted all of my clips here. So kind of a way to batch correct. You'll see this clip is adjusted as well. So just a little tidbit. If you want to do kind of multiple clips in the same location, this one is also a little bit bright. So we're going to pull down the brightness here, drop the shadows a little bit, and drop. As I said before, with adjusting things to the beat of the music, with color, you could spend all day on this, making it as perfect as you can. And I just think in the beginning, the key is to kind of throw away the perfection, get it done, get it out there, get it edited. The more you shoot, the more you edit, the better these will become. The more consistent you'll get in camera, and the more you will feel confident when you're going through the editing process, especially on things like audio and color correction. It's something we're all learning. I am constantly learning. And, the more time you invest in this, the better you're going to get. Okay, so this was one that I felt was a little shaky. I think it's just like a quick pan. And so what we're going to do with this one is go up here to this tool that says Stabilization. So again, you can hover over these to kind of see what your options are. Stabilization is here. And this is great. I love this for giving you the opportunity to stabilize anything that's shaky. Stabilization is super important when you are actually shooting. Again, getting it right on the front end is going to help you long term, but we don't always shoot perfectly. So that's why we have great tools to utilize afterwards. So click here to stabilize your shaky video, and then it's going to analyze it. If you saw there, it kind of punched in, and that really helps to get rid of some of that shake. So let's watch it back and see how we like it. Okay, great. Love it. And then this one, I'm going to adjust the color. And really that's what I do. I go through clip by clip. I look at the color, look at the stabilization. And then if there's audio included, I listen to that as well. So just going to go through these and make sure that everything is stable and adjust any colors that I need to. Okay, so again, just going through clip by clip here and adjusting as I see fit, what I feel like each clip needs in order to kind of fit together with my story. I feel like the length of all of them is good, and now I'm just doing some color edits. This one is a little bit maybe underexposed, so what I'm going to do is go up to color, kind of bring it up. Obviously, the background of this is super bright because she's backlit. And I just want to make sure that you can see kind of what is going on here in the front without totally blowing out the back. So might drop down some of the highlights, but then also bring up my shadows. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. And then on this one, sound on here. And I'm going to drop down my music. I'm going to drop my music down to about 20 and see. Okay. Okay, and you can kind of hear like a dinging in the background here, and that's from this wind chime that's on their porch, which I kind of like. I showed it earlier in the film. You can hear it. It's part of their evenings out on their front porch. I think it works really well. If you did want to adjust to either remove some of the background noise, that is an option as well. If you click here and then go over to this option here, which is noise reduction and equalizer, you can hit this button here that will reduce some of the background noise. So let's say, for example, you're outside and maybe it's a busy street, there's cars going by, or you're somewhere that like an air conditioner or fan is running. This can help you a little bit to adjust that. I don't do a ton of audio editing other than raising levels in iMovie, just because I think if you are getting into the advanced side of editing for color and audio, then you might want to look into a more robust tool such as Premiere Pro, Final Cut, one of those paid options, or DaVinci Resolve, which is also free. Okay, so again here, these both, the audio needs to come up. Let's see what these sound like now.
Oh, yes, you can always start next.
Okay, so I think that's cute. I like how, I guess those are up about as high as they'll go. So again, you're a little more limited here in iMovie as far as audio goes. I think it sounds pretty good. I love how it cuts down here and you can hear her little laugh. You can obviously hear mom telling little sister she'll get a turn.
Oh, yes, you can always start next.
Okay. So the other thing I wanted to do is show you transitions. And if you have seen films before, sometimes you'll see where like between the clips it dips to black. Other times they will do what's called a crossfade, where it fades from one clip to the other. And that's what we're going to throw in now and see what it looks like. You do have a lot of options here in iMovie. Personally, I think that these can be really overdone. So I don't utilize them between clips unless I feel like a moment calls for it. So we're going to do cross dissolve, mainly because this moment took a long time. It took time for the little girl to blow the bubbles and then her little sister to blow the bubbles. And I just didn't want this to be one giant clip. I could also throw in some B-roll in the middle here. So if, for example, I wanted to take the shot of the wind chime and put it between the two, I could do that. So there's a lot of ways to break this up. You could even do what's called a jump cut, where you just jump from her to her. So if you want to do that, you can. I'm not huge on jump cuts unless they serve a purpose. I love to add in like a cross dissolve or something to kind of show that the moment has transitioned. So let's go here and we will put this right in between these two. You just kind of drop it right on the little line that was there, this little line that was there previously, and you'll see now it fades from one to the other. So
Yes, you can run the screen.
there you go. Okay, so it looks nice. It's, one of those you can either do it or not do it. It really is kind of based on your personal preference, but we'll leave it in for now just to show you that there's options. There are all kinds of crazy ones here that they have. You could make your screen flip. And, these can be used for certain things. I think there's everyone's creative process is different. Everyone wants their films to look different. So if any of these speak to you and you want to throw them in, feel free. But again, I think with most things in filmmaking and in creating videos for your families, it's going to just be simple is best. And then here at the end, we have another shot that I think I wanted to add. I'm actually going to slow this down and see what it looks like here. So speed. Yep. And then we'll just go to slow and see what that looks like. So again, these we customized, we did 50%. With this, you can slow it down and then you can choose 50, 20, okay, so that's an option as well. So if you click on slow, you can just click slow and then auto, and it will adjust it to what I guess it feels best with the frame rate work. So I think that looks really nice. So we're gonna do that. And then the other options are, you can just slow it down a little bit. You can do half speed, and then customize, you can make it whatever you want. So if you want to speed it up, slow it down, anything you want there on the customized side, you can do. But I like this slow and then utilizing auto. I think that works really well. So go for that if you have any questions on speeding up or slowing down. And again, I didn't slow down the whole film. I wanted some of these moments to be in real time so you could kind of feel what it felt like to be there blowing bubbles with these little girls and their mom. Okay, and then we are also going to add a title. So I think what I will do is start out by just showing you a few options. So you could put a title over the footage that you've shot. If you wanted to just add in like a solid white frame, you could add that in. I do that with a lot of my brands, and then I overlay their logo. If you wanted to do a color, you could add a color or something maybe to fit your brand. This also is a great spot where you can add your logo at the end. So let's do that. We will add a white matte here down on the ends, and I will add my logo in over top of that. So I will drag that into my project and then add that in. Then let's go back to the beginning here. And with this one, I am going to just add a title right over the top of my footage. So usually I just select this slide one here. It kind of like slides it in. There's also, a variety of different options. iMovie has a lot of options to make things unique and creative. So if that's kind of your vibe, then you're going to have some options. You could do pixie dust with the title if maybe you're making a video from your family Disney adventure. So many different things here, and you can choose what you think is best. So I'm just going to go with the standard. So we're going to take this and add it here, and then you'll see it gives you the options. So I'm going to delete that and delete that, and then I am going to put in here. And I just put the Brumfield family. All right, I'm going to adjust the font, which you can do here. You can resize it if you need to. You can do like justification, bold, italics, the color, really anything you want to do. You can do it right up here at the top. So let's go here, and I am going to choose. All right, to keep it simple, I'm just going to choose this. And then okay, so now we're just going to go back and see what it looks like when it fades in. I like that. Okay, and then the other thing you can do with your clip, in order to make the text stand out here a little bit more, we can actually make the background a little bit darker. So let's do that. Just kind of drop down the exposure in that color panel here. Okay, so I think bringing down the exposure helped us out there, and then you'll see here how it fades in. Okay, so again, just still kind of tinkering a little bit with colors if you need to. You could spend all day on this, like I said before, so don't do that, but I think it looks pretty good. Lastly, I will be adding my logo in here. So let me go grab that and I will drop it into our project. So we're going to go back to My Media. We'll click on our movie, and then I will drop my logo right in here. Okay, so now that my logo is inserted here, I'm just going to drop it down right on top of this color mat. And you'll see it makes it very large and scrolls it from side to side. And we don't necessarily want that. So we will click here and then go up to this option where it says cutaway. We're actually going to go to picture in picture, and then I'm going to put it right here in the middle. And then I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to actually go over here to my crop, and I want to fit to size. Okay. And then let's see what that looks like. Okay, perfect. So it fits it. If I do want to make it larger, I can just go to this option here, which it's video overlay settings. And then the good news is they give you these bars to make sure it's center. And I just did a dissolve, so it will dissolve. You can zoom. So I like this option. Okay, and then hit play. Perfect. Okay, and I'm just going to cut both of these down. I kind of wanted that to end. Let's listen. Oh, bring the music back up. Okay, let's listen. Okay, and so when it gets to this beat here, I'm going to have it cut to my white screen. Okay, perfect. And then I'm just going to line this right up with the end, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so let's just play there. With that, I'm just going to go back and watch my video from beginning to end, make sure that the audio all sounds good on my computer so that when I go to export it, it is ready to go and will sound and look good to anyone who's watching it. I will play the full video for you at the end of this video so you can see the finalized version. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do here is export our video. And so if you go over here, to the options, we'll go to File, Share, and then you're going to want to go down to File. And then here you can watch a playback of your video if you would like. You can kind of scrub through, make sure that this is indeed the video that you intend to export. And then here you're going to want to make sure that audio and video are both selected. You want the resolution to be the highest resolution. So I shot this in 1080p. We'll click that. Then we're going to go to Best ProRes, and then we want to compress for better quality. And from there, we will hit next and it will export your film. And then if you want to save this as a different title, so I could do the Brumfield family, and then wherever you want to save it. So we'll just save it right on our desktop and hit save. Okay, and then up here, you'll see this little circle, and this is showing you the export of your film. So a lot of times this just depends on how fast your computer is, but as this bar goes around, then it is finalized and your video is exported. From there, you can upload your video or share it however you see fit. I tend to use Vimeo for hosting my films. I love Vimeo. It has been a great tool for me. It allows my clients to download the videos as well. You can also deliver with something like Dropbox, or if you want to upload it to YouTube, you could do that as well. Social media platforms, there's so many different options. So I hope that was helpful. I hope all of this information assist you as you are getting started with iMovie and creating films of your own. If you have any questions, definitely drop me a line, let me know. And if you need additional information on how to shoot video, how to edit video, definitely go over to shelearnsvideo.com and check us out. Thanks so much.